the last one that I was gonna say, and you kind of touched on it there too, is you talk about this when we're doing skill stuff a lot, is that your brain and body have to work together.
Yeah.
And I think that plays into it as well. Coordination is the word, or like things are in sync is another part of it too.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your skill stuff for sure, but then when you're on the ice, a lot of times the decisions that you make are going to come from the positions that you're putting yourself in, or what move you just made, or whatever you're doing skill wise. So whatever your body does, that oftentimes is going to lead you into whatever the next decision is that you need to make. So one thing that you always say is when you're doing skill stuff in particular is that you need to have like an escape move,
Yes,
or you need to be able to get out.
Yes.
And that's a hockey IQ thing.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
you go and you make your move inside out. Oh, that didn't work. You need to be able to recover and do something else after. So your brain and body have to be synced up so that you can make the following decision that you need to make. Otherwise, you find guys, they skate themselves into a corner, or they make too many moves and they can't get out of it and they trap themselves. Those types of things happen all the time, and that plays into hockey IQ for me too. So it's the ones that I want to leave with is the question asking thing. Obviously, you want to have high enough skill level where you can just focus on the decision making, and then you want to make sure that those two things are working together. Your body and your mind are both on the same page with what you're trying to accomplish, so that you can have that flow to your game where like one decision leads to the next, and it's nice and smooth, not choppy, and that'll lead to better outcomes when you're making plays or trying to do whatever you're doing on the ice.
Yeah, so one thing that you can train for that is I've got a drill that I do. So what I'll use is I could use pylons, I could use nets, I could use whatever you want to use, but basically it's you. I'm coming, or you're coming on me, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a pattern. Okay, so let's say you're going to stick handle. You're gonna pivot backwards. You're gonna spin, but all the time that you're doing this, you have to be in eye contact with me, and you have to be using your skill. So like, because I give them a task to do while they do this. So while you're doing that, you'd be amazed at how many people, once they go to, like, let's say they go to do a pivot, that their brain, there's a gap in the brain, and they stop stick handling, or they stop their feet moving. So if I ask you now to add something to it, like, and that's speak to me. So there's another skill on top of your hockey skill. So having a conversation takes another circuit. So that you'll see when people go to do this, that their feet will stop, their hands will stop. I said, well, I'm glad that you can speak to me, but that's not the point. I understand you can speak.
Yeah.
So that, they can catch themselves going, oh, wow, that's a little harder to do two tasks. Right? Because your brain's doing this, right? So one of the drills that I like to do is, like, as I'm doing this, is throwing numbers out, 2, 1, 4. So as they're doing whatever patterns I give them with their head up, they have to do recognition and speak.
Say what the number is.
Yeah. So another way that you can do this is you can take, so this is really good for coaches and dads, even if you're going to take your kid out for a little training session, is get red, yellow, blue, put numbers on it or letters or whatever, and just hold them like this. So I want you to do this task. Okay. So you're stick handling, you're going to pivot, you're going to come back, forward, whatever, sidestep, whatever. And it's going to be red 4, blue A. And you go through that thing, and you'll be amazed. It never ceases to amaze me how people go and they stop and they go, blue A. And it's like, congratulations, you're in kindergarten. The point of this is to do this while you're skating, while you're stick handling, while you're looking around, while you speak, because a couple things are happening. You're kinesthetically, you're moving, right? So you're doing that skill. So it's never going to stop. So you're adding the, what do you call that? The vocal, is that audio?
Okay.
Audio. So you're adding the audio component to it. Well, so what happens in a game when you're playing? If O-Dog's over there and he goes, Andy, head up. I hear that with I don't stop and go, what?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I don't, and then boom, right? Or I don't stop and go or dump it and I go, what corner? Or
exactly.
Oh, here, and I don't have to stop and actually analyze where he is and stuff. Right? Yeah. It doesn't confuse me. So train that part. The other part is that when you're recognizing, right? So you have 4, blue, red, whatever, is your brain's going, okay, so I'm doing this and I see a pattern here and I have to think. So when you're playing in a game, what do you have to do, right? I see a guy coming or a guy cutting across, whatever, I see open ice, and that split decision I can make because my brain's been trained to do that. And then the last part is that you can speak it. So what's the other part of the game? O-Dog, go. O-Dog, right? No, back off, whatever, like cut. And you're speaking, right? You can yell, so that all of a sudden you're taking all those senses that you have and you're putting it into one. And if you practice that alone, that would be a really good drill to just open up your brain. And not only when you're doing the speaking, like when I say blue, let's say blue 4, it's not just blue 4. It's like blue 4, like be assertive and like get into it while performing your task. It's a really good drill.
Yeah.
Another drill that I like to do, and the kids actually really love it at all ages, is I'll take a whole bunch of like maybe 3, 4 to 5, 6 different obstacles. I might do only half ice. So what I'll do is I'll start coming out of the corners, and I just want to see how they process things. So, because the thing is like a lot of kids are just, okay, up and down your wing, and when you get to the blue line, hang a left, and they don't think, right? So what I'll do is I'll take the ice coming out of the corners, and I'll have 4 or 5 different nets and maybe a regroup pass at the red line. So what they have to do is they have to just find holes. So they got to come out 2-on-0 or 3-on-0 and regroup to us. And all you're doing is you're making passing, finding holes. That's what a hockey is, right? Yep. That's all it is. You'd be amazed at, I'd probably say 50% of guys just don't get patterns. Mm-hmm. And then some guys get a little bit more, and there's a very small percentage that just get it. That just get it. Yeah. So it's something that, I sit there sometimes, I go, pass it to the guy in front of you. Don't skate behind. Like, it's just really simple. You go here, drop it, whatever. Like, it's just a pattern. And we could do that from both ends. It's amazing. One more drill.
No, it's good.
One more drill that'll help you, at least keep your head up and be aware, is I'll do like a 3-on-0 going down. So it's like a weave, but the first guy that crosses the red line, so I'm just going to do it like this. So you got a 3-on-0 weave, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So it's follow the puck. First guy over the red line is going to go shoot.
Yeah.
The other two have to just kind of peel back like this, and then they get a pass. And then it's a 2-on-0, couple passes. First guy over the red line shoots. Third guy goes down and shoot. Okay. Then I send the other side. So, but the point of that is that I start adding, the intervals get quicker, so that the first time you'll go on 3-on-0, a couple of times, and then I make them go quicker, so you got 3-on-0, but it's actually 3 guys are coming down, right? So they have to keep their head up and see those type of patterns, right? And they're looking for passes. Now they have to be aware that there's 3 other guys coming, so I increase that, so there's basically 6 guys going at the same time. And it's just like, without teaching a whole lot, they have to get it on their own. Yeah. So it's another way to do that.
Those are great, and that's exactly.
So you get creative, right? Like, as a coach.
But the bottom line is you're teaching how to process information while you're doing other things.
Yeah.
And that's what the hockey sense, hockey IQ ends up being. You have to be able to do skills. Yeah. You have to be able to skate, pass, shoot, whatever, while also processing the situation around you and make the right decision. Yeah. Because normally there is a right decision or a few right decisions that you could make in whatever the situation is, and you have to be able to identify those. And that's what those drills, you're practicing doing some of that. You're practicing making sure you're thinking and processing while you're doing whatever the pattern is that you said you're supposed to do or whatever, So that's a really good thing. So those are probably the 3, if I had to say 3 things you can actually do to try to improve your hockey IQ. And again, like you said at the start, this doesn't mean you're going to turn into Wayne Gretzky or whatever. It just means that you're going to give yourself a chance at improving your ability to make decisions or solve problems on the ice. So that's asking questions, what you said at the start. Make sure that your skill level is high enough that you don't have to worry about that part and you're not distracted by just having to perform the skill. And then making sure your brain and body is working together, or like you said, you're processing information while performing whatever the task is that you're doing. So those are probably of all the things we just talked about, those are probably the 3 bullet point takeaways from that kind of stuff. So